Do you want to build a gaming computer? It'll be fun.
Okay. When Noah first approached me and told me that he wanted to make a gaming computer, I was a little bit skeptical, but he was very convincing and I think it's a great idea.
Ever since a couple of days ago, I've always wanted to build a gaming PC. I'm really more of a Mac guy, but the one place where PCs do beat out Macs is definitely gaming.
Noah and I then sat down to try and figure out a good build for his computer. For our motherboard, we're going to be using an Asus B85M-E. We're going to be using whatever RAM that we can find that's really cheap. For our processor, we're going to be using an Intel Core i5-4460 Haswell quad-core with a clock speed of 3.2 GHz. For our graphics card, we're going to be using a AMD Radeon R9 380. And for our power supply, we're going to be using a Corsair CX600M. Now, we don't know exactly what case we're going to be using because we're going to be figuring that out on the job. Alright, so we're heading down to Micro Center right now. We're going to try to stick to a budget of around $800. So we're just going to head down there and see what we can find, and yeah, let's go shopping.
So with the Windows operating system, we ended up going a little over budget. I think it was about $930, but if you take away Windows, around 100, we're looking at about $830, which is pretty much exactly what I expected, so definitely went well. Case is actually pretty cool too. It even has a window on it. I think that's everything. Alright, so we just got back from the store with all of this stuff, and I am super excited to start building this thing.
Yeah, so the only thing that changed from our original build idea was the processor, which we upgraded to the 4590 rather than the 4460. So it's a slightly higher clock speed, and it was actually, for some reason, less expensive, so that's fun. So we're going to go ahead and start building this.
Alright, let's go.
So let's see how this case is going to look. Is there a window?
Yeah, right here.
Oh wow, look at that.
Nice window.
Alright, so we're gonna take our motherboard right here, and we're gonna carefully lift it up, and we need to put it in the right way, so. Excellent, so now that we have that done, we're going to take our little screw baggie right here. So we're gonna pull out a screw that we're gonna use to fasten the motherboard. I like the gold and black color scheme of this motherboard. It's gonna look really nice with the big window on the side.
Yeah.
Our case has a lovely window right here, so we'll be able to see in to the handiwork. So see, all of our ports come out right here on the side. Now, most motherboards actually have an HDMI port, but we're not going to use that because our graphics card has the HDMI port. The only time that you would actually use this is if you're going to use the integrated graphics card on the processor, which this card actually, or with this processor actually does have. So technically you have two graphics processors.
I think you do it from the inside.
I
think
guess
we
so.
were supposed to do that first.
I guess so. Mine wasn't that way.
Okay, let me see.
Well, that's not going to work. We're going to have to take the motherboard out.
No, wait.
Well, it turns out we actually installed the motherboard before we installed the I/O shield. This particular motherboard apparently has you install the I/O shield first. When I built my gaming computer, it was one that you snapped in afterwards, but apparently this one's different, so we messed up. Alright, so let's go ahead and work on installing the graphics.
Wowee. This thing is
That's a
heavy.
huge graphics card. Alright, good.
There we go.
Oh,
It just clicked.
secured.
Yep, just clicked. Alright, so we just put the Wi-Fi card, the wireless card in. That was actually really easy. And now we are getting the antenna plugged in. So we were about to install the CD drive, which is necessary for installing Windows, when we realized that the awesome case that we picked out has no CD drive slots. So I suppose we'll have to keep part of the computer open with the CD drive plugged in while we're installing Windows, and if I want to use it in the future, I'll have to open the computer.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and say that this build is still pretty great because people are less and less reliant on CD drives, so it doesn't really
also
matter
it's just,
all
the
that
case
much.
is the only. If you had picked a different case, everything else would have been fine. So
exactly.
You know, it's pick a different case or don't use a CD drive like this.
Alright, so as of right now, we have our processor mounted. We have the RAM set. We have our graphics card with awesome cooling tubes. We have our wireless card, and everything is screwed in, looking nice on the back. And now we're going to start by installing the CD drive. Look at that.
This was the
How
most expensive component in the whole thing.
$14.
Okay, so here's what happened. We are trying to plug in all of these things. These are like the audio plugs up here, the power button, which has an LED ring around it. The problem was that the graphics card, as you saw before, is plugged in right here. And, you know, when it's plugged in here, the graphics card is too big, and it'll hide, or it'll cover all of these pins. And these are really important. Of course, we need the power to work, and then all of the other things, all the ports up here, I definitely want them to work.
And those SATA ports right there, the gold ones.
That's right, because we would only have these two. These other four would be covered up. So I had the idea. I said, it was plugged in here, the Wi-Fi card. I said, let's plug it into here, because it looks the exact same. It plugs in, and according to Google, it works.
Yeah, so apparently you can actually use a PCIe X1 wireless card in a PCIe X16 slot. So the downside is we can't have a second graphics card, but the upside is we don't really care about that at all.
I think one is enough, and that gives even these ports under, and then all of these are completely exposed, so now we can actually plug everything in right, so.
And now comes everyone's favorite part, wiring. Cheese level off the charts. Well, that does it. We are all wired up. The only thing that we have to do now is, well, basically plug it in and turn it on, and then install Windows on here, and then we can just take this out, close up the case, and it'll be done.
Alright, it's time to turn this thing on. We still have the side off because we need to get the CD drive to install Windows, but once Windows is installed, then we'll unplug it and actually close it, and we'll show you what that looks like, of course. Okay, we got light. We got light, and I just saw the light blink here, the
Whoa!
drive light.
Look, there's a glowy dragon on the graphics card. Oh my god, I'm so glad we have a window.
There it is, window. I'm going to cover up the product key, but there is Windows 10 right there. We do have a product key. I think this might be the first Windows that I've installed with a product key that I legally purchased.
Wow.
So, the computer is built, Windows is installed, and everything is all set up. The peeling off of the plastic.
Oh, good.
Here we go.
Ah, satisfying.
There it is. Windows 10 successfully installed, and
everything is working fine.
Yeah.
Now, as just a little closing remark, we did end up going a little bit over budget, and subtracting the cost of Microsoft Windows, it's around $800.
Here's what I'll say. The cost was $930 in total. Windows was about $100, but there is $30 worth of mail-in rebates from the stuff that I got. So it'll be about $800 after rebates, which is actually my target. I was thinking I wanted to be right around $800, and surprisingly that worked pretty much exactly.
Yeah. So if you are looking for a good, nice $800 build, I will be linking all of the products that we used here, some of which differed a little bit from what we originally planned, but not very much. And I will be linking those all in the description below. So if you want to copy our build, go ahead and check out that description right now. Alright, we're gonna see you guys later.
Goodbye, thanks for joining us.